G'day everyone. So I've decided I'm gonna start doing these little guides again, these cheap guides if it's possible. Sometimes it's not, sometimes it is. I'm gonna try. I'm just gonna be doing the boss nodes. Most of these nodes are fairly simple anyway. This one requires a lot of messing about. It's not a very straightforward one. Sometimes timing just ends up beyond anything you can work with, and it's just bad luck. So keep that in mind when you're going through this. Sometimes it will just fall bad. You can do your best to try and make sure that it goes good, but sometimes, very rarely, it will go bad. That's it. I'll walk you guys through it. Courier and Myrtle as vanguards. Cora and Bubble as defenders, so I've got both with skill 2. Suzerain with skill 2, Gavial with skill 1. You can use any other single target healer you prefer. I like Gavial just because she has a heal over time, but it's up to you guys. A Chaincaster. Chaincaster is going to be best for this just because of how the map is laid out. You can use another single target caster, but such as Haze, but I wouldn't personally. Amiya with skill 2. I prefer using skill 2. That's my personal take on it. You're not going to want to use skill 3 just because we need to have a deployment order very specific. So don't use skill 3 because redeploying her is going to do you more harm than good. That said, also my army is quite built up. She's got mastery 3s. She's got module level 3s. That's only going to speed up the process. Don't worry about that. It's not going to hinder you if you don't have her as high level and built up as mine. The same thing with my Myrtle. Her skill is mastery 3'd. It's just going to change how quickly the deployment point cycle. It's not going to hinder you. Cutter. Now, if you don't have Cutter, a dual strike guard specifically, so yeah, we're after these Swordsmasters. If you do not have a Swordmaster leveled at any level, I would suggest using Mousse, who has this chance to hit twice. Other than that, just bring a fighter. The idea is that we want attacks as quickly as possible. We don't want damage, we just want fast attacks. So those archetypes are best. Norcorn, he's cheap to deploy, he's quick to deploy, he's a backup defender if everything else goes wrong. So you can use Norcorn as an absolute backup. Bruce, kind of the same reason as Cutter. We just want constant cycling damage from a sniper. And last but not least, we want a fast redeploy. I'm using Gravel for a shield. I personally think Gravel is the best option for this. Alright, so with all that said and done, let's get through this. If this helps you out though, guys, please consider liking, subscribing. Any questions, concerns, throw them in the comments. I'll do my best to get back to you. We're going to start by popping our vanguards all the way in the back here. So 1 and 2. Crew's here, facing up. Army here, facing across to the left. When we get our 29, Pudding here facing up. And last but not least, we're going to throw in our healers. So 1 facing up. And 2 facing across to the left. This enemy here, don't worry about this enemy. He's going to be in pain for a short period of time. He's not going to be the worst thing that happens to you. We're going to wait until he gets in range of Amiya, and then we're going to deploy our defender, so Amiya can attack him. After Courier's skill has gone through, we're going to pull Courier out. So about when these guys start moving, putting skill to get rid of them. So you'll notice that the bulk of our damage on enemies comes primarily from pudding. Amiya does have a few moments where she does actually do damage, but most of it's going to come from pudding. So, now we're just waiting to watch the boss move. Boss is moving. Block boss. Myrtled out. Once you've got 99 deployment points. Norcorn. Norcorn out. Fast redeploy back in. We want to keep that boss locked down as long as we can. Now, this enemy here is going to give us a little bit of an opening to get some damage on this enemy here. So what we want to do is we don't want to use pudding skill until we start seeing the bounce. Now, Amiya's skill is activated as a hazardous time because that means she's going to chew that enemy apart. So basically, we're just going to do our absolute best to make the most of a bad situation there. I will actually try and shove that enemy down, which hasn't worked there. So I'll take our fast redeploy out. I'll redeploy Courier here. Just because I really want to start getting that enemy down. Now, once the boss moves forward, that enemy will go down, but the thing is, I want to minimize the damage on Bubble as much as possible. So once the boss moves forward to this second tile, we're going to pop in our our Jill Strike here. Fast redeploy here. Take it back out once we've baited that skill. And I'll fast forward this again. So, once again, we want to bait the skill. Now, being here, I probably won't quite get there, but see what happens. Actually, with seeing as how this is going, I'll let him go forward, because even if he does use the skill, it's not going to hurt. So that is your damage check. That is, if you can't survive that, that's the bare minimum. So, we want to get rid of the boss. So we're going to run through this. So the boss has entered second phase. Now the boss won't start really doing damage until his invulnerability wears off, so bear that in mind. So we don't want to, not that we can force it, but we don't want to force this heater until he's vulnerable again. So we're going to take out Cruz. So this should line up fairly well. So yep, there he goes. Now, whether or not he actually uses the skill, he has, we don't need to worry. Once this is all said and done, so once he goes back to doing full damage, once he's out of the heat trail, we're going to use Bubble's skill. Putting skill when Amiya's skill's about to expire. We're going to try and force this heater, which is not doing a good job. And once Bubble's skill expires, that's it. So everything else needs to be as dead as possible at this point in time. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our fast redeploy up here out of the way. After that, the boss will do this, and it should skip forward. So then we're going to put Norcorn Myrtle. The boss will skip forward again. And after that, we should be sweet. Norkhorn out, Cora in. 22 or 23, putting out. Cruz in here. Make sure she's facing back so that she can attack only this heater. Boss will go in and he will be a quick minute while he walks all the way through. So what we're going to do is we're going to preemptively stick our fast redeploy here. Because we don't want either of these two going down. These two need to stay there the whole time. Now, the boss is going to use a skill straight away. Courier in. Courier out. Do your absolute best to hold off on that. It's not going to happen, but while it's active, Cora will not go down. That is your second damage check. Once that wears off, Cora's skill, and do your absolute best to cycle. Do everything you can to try and cycle this heater now. Putting in, facing down. At this point, it is just, you'll notice that this thing is just going up like crazy. At this point, you're safe. There's nothing that can go wrong at this point in time. Once Cora's shield goes down, because I did say that Amiya would be weaker, activate Suzuru's skill and just wait for it to cycle. If Cora goes down, you've got two other tanks that are ready to come in. So bear that in mind. You've also got Courier if worse comes to absolute worse. So I hope that helps you guys out.